episode here on my channel. My name is ChaosMole, and today we are talking about the Patch 2 and Patch 3 coming out for Battlefield 2042, and DICE has just announced like the big patch notes, and they're going a little bit into detail about what is going on in Battlefield 2042, and let's be honest, it's a lot, because if you have followed the Battlefield 2042 release, you know that the game has some serious issues. There are, of course, like a lot of personal issues people have, let's say with the specialists and all that, but that game also has a lot of general problems. I'm watching, or I'm looking at those patch notes live. So if you were like, who is he talking to? And why is he not cutting out his mistakes? Because this is live and I cannot really do that. So let's have a look, shall we? Yes. First things first, let's talk about this one. It's only a few days past our global launch, and there are already millions of playing Battlefield 2042. We are happy to see so many of you back on the battlefield, almost twice as many at this point as our last release. So if you're wondering, Battlefield 5 had in the first 3 months of its release had about 4.7 million players. So it seems like we are now at 10 million, which is kind of interesting because EA saw Battlefield 5 as a failure because they predicted 12 to 14 million players. And they were actually rather disappointed by the 5 million players. So I wonder if EA adjusted actually their predictions here a little bit, or if this time they were planning for like 20 million players in the first 3 months of the game or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, we are talking about around 10 million players here. And now they are talking about that they are working on this constantly. They are talking to the community. And they also want to give us the assurance to see legacy features return. End of match scoreboard, server browsers, and features like voice chat are a big topic for us to cover all at once. And this is already what gets me. It's like, wait a second. Why are all those things legacy features? Especially because a server browser does exist in the game. It exists for Battlefield Portal. So why is it okay to have that in Portal, but not in the main game? It's so weird. The end of match scoreboard, I mean, we all know why they removed this. They removed this because player retention. Like, when bad players are looking at the end of match scoreboard, they will think, oh man, I wasn't as good as the others. Oh man, this sucks the fun out of me. I will not play this anymore. And I get that. I really do. But it also really doesn't help you to understand what you did for the team, especially for somebody who is, let's say, destroying vehicles, right? Like, if you are fighting against vehicles, you are not getting the kills. And that's what the game is telling you. Like, hey, you had only 13 kills and 16 deaths. Oh, you did destroy 20 vehicles in the match? Yeah, well, that's something we cannot count in here. Like, the scoreboard was always based on points and not necessarily on kills and deaths, right? So it's a little bit weird that they removed that. Then they also removed the scores from hitting a vehicle, like the points you are now getting by hitting a vehicle with a rocket is 10. And when somebody kills the vehicle after you did most of the work, you're getting nothing out of it. Like, actually going for vehicles is so not rewarding right now if you are not doing the kill, and it really sucks. And it's like, why did nobody thought about all those things? It's weird. Now let's focus on what is coming. We're delivering update 2 tomorrow. We recorded this on Wednesday, November 24th, and this will release on November 25th, followed by a further substantial update 3 in early December. And in addition to the updates that are coming, we'll also be sharing more about Season 1 in early 2022. Yeah, before you talk about that, make sure the game is alright. Alright. So let's talk about performance and server stability. We will not go through all of this. Like, I will not read every single sentence here. I have been already looking at this previously before I recorded this video. So we would just talk about the important things. They basically said that they are now pretty happy with how the servers are functioning, and I can agree there is not much going on. The only thing, which is apparently a rare occurrence, even though it happens like every second or third round, I have the feeling, is that you are spawning on the server without your intended loadout. So you're loading into a server and all your loadouts are gone. And you have to do it all over again for this round. It's not fun. This will be apparently fixed tomorrow. But yeah, it seems like that they are pretty happy with how the servers are behaving. They will also do a directly respawn after 30 seconds have elapsed, because there are sometimes the bug in the game that when you die, you lie on the ground, nobody can revive you, but you can also not die. So you're just laying on the ground and be like, help, help. And the only thing you can do is leaving the server. It sucks. Like, glad that they also want to change that. Investigate servers for breakthrough specifically. So it seems like that breakthrough still has some issues. But that's about it. Hardware. On console, we have tracked and worked with Microsoft to ensure that critical system update was rolled out. So if you have been playing this game on Xbox, you literally had blue screens. Or in this case, the Xbox was just shutting down. And it seems like they have now fixed that. For all of you playing on PC, we want to acknowledge that many of you are finding that performance of the game is presently CPU bound. And not enough of you who are fortunate enough to enjoy high-end GPUs and CPUs are seeing the benefit of consistent high frame rates. Yeah, pray tell. I think everyone has that problem. Like, it's not even that it is CPU bound. Like, even my CPU is running at like 40 to 50% usage. Like, there is still a huge fundamental part of my CPU just sitting there and do nothing. Like, that Battlefield is CPU bound is nothing new. That's not a new revelation to any Battlefield players. Have always been since we're using Frostbite. Frostbite is a CPU hack. And most of the time your GPU is just sitting there pretty and it's like, Am I supposed to do something? Hello? Like, nothing new here. But even with that being true, my CPU is not fully utilized. And a lot of other people have the same problem. So, they're basically saying that it would take them quite a while to fix this. Yep. And it's weird. It's really weird, because when I played the beta, it just ran fine. It was running absolutely fine. Not necessarily on ultra settings. On ultra settings, this game was quite a mess. But at least on high, I hit 60 FPS constantly, even beyond that. And now on high, or well, no matter which option, even on low, I'm fighting for every FPS. And yeah. But it seems like this will be a problem which would take a while. And that's not good, because you can overlook gameplay issues as long as it's still fun. But what you cannot overlook is when the game just feels not right, when you have FPS issues. That's something which kills the fun. So they better be quick about it. Gunplay and Balance. So they are talking here mostly about the bloom effect, or deviation, or spread, whatever you want to call it. And it's so that, especially assault rifles, their first shots do not hit. It's to balance good players against weak players, but they also made a mistake that the SMGs, for whatever reason, are not really affected by bloom, right? And like even sniper rifles are affected by bloom. If you're wondering how you could miss with a sniper rifle, straight shot, and your shot is not hitting, congratulations, you had bloom. So that sucks, and that's something which shouldn't happen. Like if you can nail that shot with a sniper rifle, then that should hit, and not be rolling the dice and see if you can hit. And they're basically acknowledging it here, that it is a problem, but they still want to make it work somehow to give the casuals a chance to fight back. And I know that some Battlefield players will completely hate that. But it's also like, look, everyone should have fun with a video game. I said it before. But right now, as bloom is, it's ridiculous. So what they're doing for update 2 is they're reducing the spread globally when zoomed and moving. Thanks. That's, I think, like the biggest problem. Improved stationary zoomed accuracy for many weapons. So especially for snipers, this should be true. Spread now decreases faster and earlier when pacing shots. This means more success with single fire or short burst. Yeah, there was also like the weirdest thing right now about bloom is bloom gets less effective the faster and the more you can shoot bullets. I was like, wait, what? That doesn't make any sense. But that's how it works. This is why the PP-29 is so successful. It's a fast shooting SMG with over 50 shots in the magazine. That's why it's barely affected by any of the bloom. Whereas a sniper rifle or even an assault rifle who has only 20 or 30 shots, you are vastly more affected by it. Also, you are shooting slower. So it's like, oh god, don't do that. Increase PP-29 vertical recoil to ensure that the weapon does not overperform when engaging outside of its intended combat range. Yeah, we will see if the PP-29 really needs a nerf. This is a slight nerf you can work against when you were a good player, and I think this is fine. Like, I know that people have asked for more drastic nerfs to the PP-29, but as I said before, the PP-29 is not the problem. It isn't. The problem is that every other weapon is completely underperforming in the game. That's the problem. So I would even go so far to say to not nerf the PP-29 at all. See how the other weapons perform when they actually perform. But this is what we are getting tomorrow. So let's have a look at the stuff we are getting in early December. Fix an issue where spread would be too high when trying to fire while zoomed right after sprinting for some portal weapons. Yeah, this is apparently a problem, but this is only for portal, so and not too important. Reduced effectiveness of the NTV-50 against vehicles. So right now, the, level 60 sniper rifle you are getting can take out tanks with 3 shots. Yeah. 3 shots is what you need with that sniper rifle to take out a tank. I think you need 4 or 5 rockets, and you have to hit the rockets behind the tank. Again, it's like, wait, what? What? So weird. So weird. So right now, if you have the NTW50, use that against vehicles. Like, you actually kill stuff with it pretty quickly. So they're talking about some more updates, like they're working basically on progression, map knowledge acquisition, understanding of your rock, paper scissors system, yada yada. So they're also talking about the LATV4, which is the Hovercraft. Well, no, the Hovercraft is the alternative to the LATV4. And they will nerf the Hovercraft. They will balance the health. They will bring the vehicle more into line with its design and make sure that the weaponry is appropriate, effective. We also performed similar review of the Nightbird's 20mm cannons, which were generating excessive splash damage. Yay! This will also be fixed in update 2. It's kind of interesting because I see a lot of people now unlocking the new vehicle, which is the what is it? It's the snow thingy. You know, I always forget what its name is. What is it called? What is it called? I always forget its name. It's terrible. Let me see what it's called. I have no clue what it's called. Let me see. It is the... Let me see. What is it called? I have no clue what it's called. Yeah. I have zero clue what it's called. It is not the Hovercraft. It's not the Hovercraft. I think it's the rickshaw. I think it's the rickshaw. I think it is. However, you know what I mean. And that thing is becoming more and more problematic. No, it's not a rickshaw. Rickshaw is the other one. Yeah, you know what I mean. The snow thingy. And that thing is just murdering stuff now. So basically hovercrafts were so last week, and now everyone is using that vehicle. And it's something. So they're talking about how you gain XP in co-op and portal mode. Then they realized very quickly that people were just farming XP. And the past weekend we were able to reintroduce those caps and developed smarter XP and progression caps that have allowed us to re-enable XP earned via portal custom experience. So what they're basically saying is they have found ways to identify XP farms and let the people who are not doing those XP farms but just have fun with the game gain XP again in portal mode. So that's cool. It's like, whatever. So, what's being addressed in our next two updates? Improved soldier revives, addressing unable to revive when a soldier dies close to an object or wall. That was one of the stupidest bugs I've ever seen. Like, that you cannot revive somebody when they're close to an object, especially in the Battlefield game, where basically everyone is like pressing themselves against the wall. You cannot get revived. It's such a weird bug. So glad that they're actually fixing this now. A respawn protection system that will help you to prevent any extraneous issues that can leave a player in a down state for too long and force a manual respawn when required. Yeah, this is what I said before, right? That you can sometimes just stay in the down state forever and you have to leave the server. This is for the portal mode, not too important. This is like the balancing for the Hovercraft and the Nightbird. Dispersion, so except shotguns, which results in a more consistent bullet spread during gameplay. Yeah, actually shotguns and dispersion is fine. And those things will come out tomorrow. They will release the update notes today at some point, but I don't really think there will be any big changes in it, besides of the things they have already been talking about. Now, let's talk about the update 3, which is coming in early December. User interface. Improve the collection screens, making them easier to use and clear as to what you are interacting with. Yes, please. Improve the ways in which you are able to manage your attachments via the collective screen due to reduced number of interactions you need to have when building your loadouts. Yes. Like right now, doing your loadouts, it's not fun. It's not fun at all. Enhancement to your players, card screen, whatever. Unlocked items, easier to find. Transitioning. This is all neat, but whatever. Matchmaking and friends, so they are doing like a lot of improvements there. Whatever that exactly means. Progression to unlock. Introduction of weekly missions, providing set challenges that reward cosmetics unlocks. Yay! Not sure if I'm looking forward to that one. Yeah, you are sometimes not getting the right XP. Improved overall XP rank tracking and reliability. This is all fine. Rendering. Oh yeah, they're apparently fixing some stuttering and other stuff. And if I understand this correctly, they're also fixing the green patches you sometimes have on the map. So this is apparently also a fix which is coming in the next big update. Maps. Over 150 individual fixes, small changes and improvements across all our maps. I'm very curious to see what that means. Improved level geometry issues across all levels, addressing issues such as player getting snagged or trapped. Yeah, especially with Sundance. There are moments where you can land on things where you shouldn't land. Especially in Discarded. My god, the nook and crannies you can fly through with your wingsuit and then never get out, besides of you killing yourself. Fun. Resolved multiple spawning issues. Yeah, you know, like maybe not spawning right in front of a tank, which is looking at you, would be a great improvement. I would appreciate that. Visual glitches such as lens flare, visible seams, and skydome. This is all neat. Battlefield Portal, nobody cares. Battlefield Hazard Zone, sorry, do not play, don't have friends. Do that, Tiny. Good luck. Tuned information spamming in Conquest, reducing the amount of messages that appear in the word log. Okay, that's fine. Breakthrough, do not play, sorry. General. A fix of missing loadouts. Okay, we have talked about that. Modified recent player screen to include everyone from previous matches. Allow for easier user report. Yeah. Like how hard it is to report somebody after a match. It's kind of crazy. Improved interaction point system. Okay, I hope it will be a little bit easier now to open stuff or to call an elevator, because that wasn't too easy. Kaleidoscope server room lighting issue resolved. Oh, I wonder what that is. I have no clue what they are referring to. Resolved an issue related to the velocity trajectory while spawning in jets. I'm not flying jets, so I have no clue what that means. Improved helicopter animation and level flybys during insertion. Issues, level geometry. This is not really too important. Dynamic word improvements. Addressed issues for FFX affecting late joiners. Yeah, that's apparently what's causing those green badges some people have. So if you have never seen this, when you are joining a server, after that server opened, you can have like some green badges all over the map. It's like green screen green. It's like, ugh, it's not pretty to look at. And the later you join, the higher the chance this apparently happens. So glad that they're fixing that. I made some smaller changes here. Vehicles. Fixed issues where missile countermeasures sometimes didn't work, causing missiles to not blow up and instead reacquire the same target. Yeah, that's hilarious when that happens. So you see a missile flying up, they're using countermeasures. The missile is now just starting to spin in a circle like crazy, and then after like 5 seconds, the missile is back on whatever they're trying to target. It's hilarious to watch, and it's infuriating. Made exit positioning from vehicles more consistent, made improvements to controller vibrations, yeah, whatever. Fixed an issue where the Nightbird's rockets hitting the ground can appear frozen. Yeah, that's kind of fun. I hope they're also fixing the issue that getting hit by the Nightbird's rockets, you are rubber banding. That would be really helpful, because that's pretty annoying. Yeah, apparently you cannot be shot through the window when you were using a hovercraft. Took double when getting hit through glass. Okay. Balanced Nightbird minigun spread build-up on convergence. Cool. Removes blast imports on attack helicopters, anti-vehicle rocket, which caused nudging of vehicles on hit. Okay. This is fine. Gadgets no longer pause the cooldown. That's also fine. Weapons. Reduce spread globally when zoomed in and moving. Yeah, we talked about that. Spread now decrease faster. We talked about that. Oh. Yes. Oh my god. Yes. Oh. Reduce switchback to weapon delay after throwing grenade. Oh my god. Finally. Like, I pointed this out to so often in my streams, where your character just doesn't know what it means to have like combat urgency. Like, if you have never seen this, so your character is like taking out the grenade, is like, I'll pull the trigger. Whoop. Okay, throw the grenade. Where's my weapon? Where do I... there's my weapon. Alright, let's continue fighting. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, it takes so long to chuck a grenade. Like, throwing grenades, most of the time, not a good choice. Like, it takes too long. Far too long. They changed the HUD. Very important that they are apparently now making it so that you can make the icons a little bit smaller on the map. Like right here, all word icons now scale over distance, making them smaller when you are far away in an effort to reduce icons cluttering on the screen. Yes, I cannot tell you how often I had the moment where I was shooting at an enemy they were moving a little bit to the left or to the right, and then it would basically disappear behind one of the hut icons, like the flag point. And I died because I lost what the enemy was doing. It was so infuriating. It was so infuriating. Yeah, we can also do some other stuff with the HUD now. Again, good stuff. Readability is very important. And they're doing that now. They fixed some bot behavior. They apparently made some audio changes. Now they're talking about the specialists. Sundance, Grenade Belt. So it seems like they buffed the splitter fragment grenades, the cluster grenades, because I will be honest, they felt pretty weak. It felt so weak. And now that they are bouncing once before they detonate, might actually be a good thing. We have to see it in action, of course, but I think that's a bug. Angel Loadout Crate, they basically just made it so that the Loadout Crate is more consistent. Like, there were apparently a lot of bugs with it. And also you could like just switch between the loadout boxes. So let's say you had like 2 or 3 angels in an area. They all would call in their loadout boxes. People could just go to a loadout crate, pick up the stuff there, do something very quickly, go forth to the next crate, and get the stuff again. Like, there was no overall cooldown on the crates. Like, you had cooldowns for every crate. And it was a bit too much. It was a bit OP. So yeah, they're now putting like a cooldown in for all the crates, which is shared. So that's good. Irish, they just seem to fix some issues the cover had, which makes sense. I fixed a lot more issues with the ballistic shield of Dowser, which again makes sense, right? So glad that they're fixing that. Cyber Warfare Suit, they added a short grace period of the Warfare Suit when something oculates the target being hacked. Yeah, that was super annoying. Like, you were trying to hacking a tank, and literally there was a tree in between. Not a big tree, just a small tree. And that would obscure your vision. You had to reposition yourself. And you had to start the hacking again. It was so much wasted time. I have seen this quite a bit. It's pretty annoying. Pike. Okay. Added a sound effect for the victims being scanned by the EMGX scanner. Okay. Can we talk about Pike here for a second? I get it. When they first showcased Pike, she was pretty much OP. She was disgusting. Then the game came out, and they have already nerfed her to oblivion. Like, Pike is not that strong. I have now played her quite a bit, and she is mediocre. Like, the range of the scanner is not very high. The cooldown is very high. You have like, 5 or 6 seconds to utilize it. Like, most of the time I know where the enemy is in the Battlefield game before my scanner is picking them up. So that thing was already pretty much meh. And now we are adding a sound effect to the victim that they got scanned? Really? We are now telling the enemy that we scanned them? Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm not so keen about that. Now at least it seems like that targets above or below Pike are being scanned. That's good. too many times where I was in a building, the only real reason when you use the scanner and you didn't saw the enemies above you or underneath you, and you were like, oh cool, there's nobody in here with me in the building. No, they are. Casper, they made a lot of changes to it. I made it also a little bit easier to see enemy recon drones because they have now lights. They're now switching back to their previous weapon. Nice. They increased the range of the EMP drone, which is good. They increased the drone's movement speed, but they also increased the hitbox side to make it easier to hit. And so they balanced it a little bit more and fixed like some problems it had. I'm actually kind of curious to see like how it will work out now. Boris, ooh, this is a big change, by the way. The sentry gun will now be destroyed when the owner dies instead of when the owner is downed. That is a huge buff to the sentry gun of Boris. So right now, Boris gets downed, the sentry gun immediately disappears. Now the sentry gun stays. And you could actually get some really good kills with that. Like, the problem was, or is still, because we're recording this before the patch is coming out, that, let's say you have a Boris next to its turret. The only logical thing you could do here is go for Boris. Shoot Boris. Ignore the sentry turret. Shoot Boris. Because most of the time the sentry turret takes long enough that you can kill Boris and then the turret immediately disappears. Yes, I know positioning is very important for Boris and all that. Yeah, I get it. But you never were going for the turret. You were looking for the Boris instead of for the turret. And now this is being fixed or changed. It's not a fix, it's a change. And I'm kind of curious to see how this goes. Sundance wingsuit. Fixed an issue where the repair tool, okay, that's not too important, fixed an issue when undeploying and then deploying the wingsuit can cause 1 PFU while flying. Yeah, I saw that happening and people are getting kind of crazy about that when you were going back in like first person view while flying. It doesn't end well. Falk added a lock-on and lock-off sound for the pistol for when the target is designated with a magnetism of the pistol. So basically, the magnetism they're talking about here is hit scan. The pistol, the healing pistol, is hit scan, right? So when you are like shooting at somebody, they will get the healing, and they just make this a little bit clearer when that happens. Players that require health can receive it now, have a white outline, that's kind of neat. So you don't have to guess if somebody needs healing or not. They also added some other sound feedback and stuff. So it makes it a little bit easier and clearer for Falk when to use the pistol. I'm kind of curious. They have not touched upon the idea that right now, if you want to use the pistol effectively, so Falk can heal herself, right? She can take the pistol, jab it into her arm, and heal herself. Nobody is doing that who knows how to use the pistol. What most people is doing is they're shooting against the wall and then they're getting healed by the pistol. Because it's so much faster. You don't have the animation like you have when you are jabbing it into your arm. So that's what a lot of good Falk players are doing. They're just aiming on the ground or they're aiming at the wall and then they're just getting healed. And there's no animation to it. And I always believe that that is not intended, I think. But it seems like DICE hasn't really acknowledged that and seems like to be okay with them at least for now. So, okay. Weird, but okay. Mackie gets some fixes to the grappling hook. Nothing to write home about. Now let's talk about the gadgets. Fix the bug where the recoilless M5 would not lose its lock on the enemy air vehicles when locked on via the SOFLAM designator and the target deployed countermeasures. Yeah, this was like people assume that this is a bug because that would make the whole thing so OP that you could just, like, your rocket would still hit the target with the designator even if countermeasures are deployed. And people were kind of pissed about that. Yeah, it was a bit too much. So glad that they're fixing this. C5 explosives. Oh yeah. So they're basically fixing the bug right now that explosives would do more damage a few meters behind the tank instead of on the tank. I kid you not. Right now, your C5 will do more damage when you were throwing it a little bit behind the tank and not on the tank. They're fixing this now. So, good. That was so dumb. They also adjust the deploy time, so you're throwing those C5s a little bit faster. Again, it's similar with the grenades. It's like 1 C5, 2 C5, 3 C5. In the meantime, the tank already murdered you. It's like, I already have to get really, really close to that tank. Like, what? Can you be a bit faster, please? Again, I fixed the SOFLAM here, anti-tank mine. It's just a sound effect. Medical crates, they fixed some issue here by basically them not really working as they should. And also throw them quicker. They have this problem with so many gadgets where you are taking out the gadget, you basically inspect the gadget, you're not, but it feels like it, like as if you were inspecting it, and then you're throwing it on the ground. I was like, oh god, dude, you were in the middle of a war zone. Could you maybe not inspect your equipment right now? Could you please do what you want to do with it? So glad that they're fixing that. Smoke grenades. They were now bounced once before detonate. Good. That was also pretty annoying. Fixed some issues here. Frag grenade. Ensure that the grenade warning icon does not draw under certain elements of the HUD, like the minimap. Yeah, that was so dumb. So if you were like, wait, there is a grenade warning icon in the game? Yes, there is. But unfortunately, that icon was always underneath all the other HUD elements, if you were unlucky. So if you missed out on the icon of the grenade, that's the reason why. Yep. Fixed an issue where the repair tool can repair vehicles while not facing the vehicle. Yeah, that was interesting. So we could look in another direction, see if enemies are coming, and you could just repair. Insertion beacon. This happened a lot. It didn't make any sounds, so it was really hard to find for other players. EMP now blocks the spawning of an insertion beacon. Good. So they nerfed it a bit and fixed it. The AA missile reload sound effect will now appropriately fit the animation of reloading. Cool. Extended the animation of the AA missile reload. Why? Like, as somebody who has probably the most kills with the AA missile, because I'm hunting jets and choppers, that's what I'm doing most of the time on Battlefield. I get it if everything else would work. There's so many moments where I'm losing track on a chopper because there's like, again, some leaves of a tree in the way, or something like interrupts the connection between your rocket and the chopper. Like, there's so many things which are already slowing down you locking onto the target that the last thing I really need is like a longer reload time. I will see how this feels in action, but I will be honest, I'm not sure if the AA missile needed that. Yeah, we will see though. This is a lot of fixing with swimming because it looked dumb and it didn't work. So yeah, like, again, just a lot of fixing to swimming, fixing to jumping, and some other stuff. Let me see, was there anything important here? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think this was just like some weird animation fixes they did. They nerfed melee range, so we had a pretty, like a Halo melee range. If you've ever played Halo, you can use melee from quite a distance, and then you get a little boost forward. And that's basically what you had here, melee. And they apparently now decreased the range in which you can melee the player. So they nerfed melee a little bit, fixed also a lot of weird issues. You can no longer perform a takedown on a soldier climbing a ladder. I have never seen that in action, but I can definitely see that this is a weird thing and probably causes a lot of issues when you were doing it. Yeah. Didn't work on all angles. Yeah, I had that happening to me. Super awkward when you were thinking that you were behind the enemy. You can like stab them with the knife, and the game is like, nuh-uh, you are not directly behind them. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, so those were the big fixes, which are coming with patch 2 and patch 3. Looks pretty good. It fixes a lot, I think, of the issues people have. I know there are some other people who are like, oh my god, but this is not what I wanted. The scoreboard is still missing. This is still missing. Like, yeah, what you were demanding is you were demanding gameplay changes. Like, literally gameplay changes. And gameplay changes will take a while. Like, they would definitely take a while. And I'm not even sure if like all those things will ever come to pass. Like, as I said before, there are people who are demanding that the soldiers are coming back and the specialists are gone and all that. It ain't gonna happen. You can demand that as much as you want. It will never happen. Because the specialists are an integral part of this game, if you like it or not. And they will never be taken away and then they will put in like soldier classes and something like that again. Like, ain't gonna happen. Like, there are just a few things which they will not change. No matter how much you are demanding it. So right now they're fixing the things they can fix easily and fast, which is good. And then probably with season 1 we will get some more details on the things which are come in the future and might also be more focused on gameplay changes. But that would take a while. Yeah, that would take a while. But with that said, folks, we are done with the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was a pretty extensive look. Thank you so much for watching. If you did, please leave a like. If you didn't enjoy this video, well, there's a dislike button right next to it. And if you want to see more Battlefield videos, more gaming news, more reaction videos, also tips and tricks for new games, I would appreciate if you might consider to subscribe to the channel. It will help me out a great deal. And if you ever want to catch one of my live streams, then you can do so from Monday to Friday, starting at 9 a.m. ET, which is Mole in the morning, and then some gaming news, and then playing some video games. And you can do so at trovo.live/ChaosMole. It's not com. I always want to say com, but it's live. trovo.live/ChaosMole. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you next time. Stay safe.